Hello and welcome back to another video of Adrian's Film Collectibles. Now, just going back to my last video when I spoke about the very first items that I bought here in Ulverston from the Laurel and Hardy Museum, which were really my official collectibles of when it all started and how I got inspired from Bill Kubin and then how it just sort of took off from there. And then what I've done, I've found some very early items that I still have that I never parted with, that I kept in the collection that I got soon after I visited the museum, that my fascination and obsession continued, and as it continued to grow over the years. But some of the earliest items I was trying to find, and I've put them all together to show. And I've been trying to work out what were the very first figures I ever had on Laurel and Hardy. And because obviously you can see behind me, there's loads of figures, and I've been trying to work out which ones were they. And to be honest, I can't actually remember the very first figures, but the very earliest ones that I do remember, which was this one, which was the stone garden ornament, a Laurel and Hardy set of figures sat on the bench. And I do remember these were possibly one of the very first that I had in my collection, starting of Laurel and Hardy collecting. So this would have been 1990, 91 when I got these. So these were probably the earliest pieces. And this is like figure collecting of how it all started. So that's a good starting point for my collection. And then on from that, I do remember this Charlie Chaplin figure, which is actually a talcum powder figure. I do have another one of these in its original box, and I think they're from the 70s or early 80s. I think it's the 70s, this. But I do remember getting this in a like an old second-hand shop, finding this when I was out shopping, probably like with my parents when I was probably 11 years old. So I remember this as one of the first items. And then another item on Charlie Chaplin I do remember is this that came out of a cereal packet, like Kellogg's Frosties, I think. And it also came with, there were other figures you could get in the collection, like Marilyn Monroe and amongst other early film stars. It's a shame that in the series that they never actually did Laurel and Hardy, but they did Charlie Chaplin. But those were the days when you always had little toys and trinkets and things inside cereal packets before that all changed. So that's a really nice early memory there. And then the badge. This would have been when I was with the Helpmates tent. So this would have been the first badge that I had on Laurel and Hardy. First little badge. I actually remember wearing that at school in 1991. So I remember that far back with that. I remember this. This was another one of the first items, which is back in the very early 90s, of the smiley stamps. And of course, we had Stan Laurel's smile there. And again, I used to sit this on display with my book and my masks I had. That used to sit on top of the set of drawers or ottoman unit that I had at the time. There was this, 1989. So this is an original calendar from '89 that I had. It's probably the first. Well, it would have been the first calendar that I had back then, and I've cherished this ever since. So again, another very early memory of the start of collecting of Laurel and Hardy calendars. So that would have been the first one that I had. And of course, that's the same year that I first went to the museum. I do remember this very much, not long after I visited the museum, '89, that my older brother, he made this. This would have been back in school days, that he was very good with art and his sort of ideas that he came up with, and he's done all these different colours and sort of reflecting off their hats. with all these different colours, so that if it was like a light effect. So it's a nice little piece that I always had on the wall. It's had two little holes here where I used to hang it up on the bedroom wall when I was a kid. So it's a nice little memory there for me that my brother did. So I kept hold of that. Discovery remembers the Discovery booklets that you could get, and all different on historical figures, and there was this one on Charlie Chaplin, and it's been well used because, you know, I pulled it all out when I was a kid growing up, and there was a cutout of Charlie Chaplin that you would put together, and you get different old clippings and things, and magazine in there, Discovery magazine, about Chaplin and about the early cinema days in general. So I've kept this all these years as well. So it's a nice addition that I had when I was growing up. And then we have this as well. Probably a lot of fans will probably recognise this, with all the poster pictures you could get inside from the different Laurel and Hardy films. I put these in. These are photocopies. These are actually from Randy Scrivett's book. And I remember my teacher at school, he photocopied me these going back when I was about 11, 12 years old. And again, I used to have these on my wall. So these are the days before when I started getting really serious and wanting to collect original photos or Stax photos on Laurel and Hardy. So it was all about a lot of photocopying back then from books and what have you. And then you've got the collection in this one of all the original mini posters that came with this sort of poster book from Bonnie Scotland, Laughing Gravy, and then you've got MGM Studio shot and Night Owl, so different shots there. And you can see it's been well looked after, because I never had this on the wall, but it has faded a little bit over time due to age. So yeah, so that's that. So that was like my first sort of real sort of poster book on Laurel and Hardy. And then I had these dolls. These would have been the first dolls I had back in the early 90s. These actually were bought when I was on holiday with my parents in Greece. And Laurel and Hardy as sailors. So you could say from Men of War or Two Towers. But they were like the first other collectible items that I had on Laurel and Hardy. And again, they are sort of to, you know, showing their age a bit with the coloration of their hats, a change in colour, and just with age. So again, they've just been well cherished and looked after. Just put that down there, and then I've got this. This was again, after the posters I bought at the museum, my fascination with posters continues. So this is a door poster, so it's a long, thin poster of Laurel and Hardy from The Finishing Touch. So it's quite a long poster. The feet at the bottom were cut off because I cut it all off at the bottom because it was so worn, and because me and my best friend, he had as I said in the last video, he had a BB gun. I also had one as well, and we used to put targets and stuff in front of this, and the bottom of this poster used to get absolutely shot to smithereens, and it still has little bullet holes in it, and there's one there in Stan's chin. One of the plastic little balls went through. So those are things you do when you're a kid growing up, but nevertheless the poster itself stayed in pretty good condition. So it's still great to hold on to, and the reason why I keep these items is because it brings back so many memories of how Laurel and Hardy really started for me and how collecting started. And then we have this. This was bought from a friend of mine when they went on holiday. I'm not sure which country it was now they went to, but I think this one is Italian. I think this poster, or French. But it's a really nice poster of Charlie Chaplin with red background, and of course red is my favourite colour, and I absolutely love this shot. Really great poster of Charlie Chaplin. So that would have been one of the first posters that I had on of Chaplin. Great shot there. And then the rest of these items I've got are all posters, so they're all original posters I got at the time. None of them are original film posters, but they're just printed posters that I had on my wall when I was a kid. So there's this one, which is really nice poster there from Udon Tootin, which is a great shot there with the musical instruments of Laurel and Hardy, and you can see obviously in the back there where it's been well used, putting that up on the wall. These ones are actually from the museum. You've got Laurel and Hardy Museum stamped on here. Different shots from Way Out West, all the overlap publicity shots from Way Out West. And then there's that one there, which is quite a famous one. Again, they were both bought from the museum. I think probably around the second time round when I went there, and that would have been in the original museum in Upper Brook Street. So these came from there also, as well as the ones I showed in the previous video. So that would have been back in the sort of mid-90s, just after Bill sadly passed away. There's this one, so this is another rare one that I used to have on the wall. So it's good to pull all these out, find them all. This is the other one of Charlie Chaplin from The Kid with Jackie Coogan. Love that one. To be quite honest, I never had that many of Chaplin. It was always more Laurel and Hardy that my interest in Chaplin started to grow stronger as well over the years. There's this one from Liberty. That's a famous one on top of the scaffolding. Great shot there. Again, my friend originally had this poster, my best friend. He bought this first, and then I remember saying at the time, I have to get one as well. And then we both, I can remember going downtown and buying it together. So it was just great memories there. This one, I remember very much buying in the shop. This is, it's got Larry Harmon's Laurel and Hardy 100th birthday celebration, so it's like a shot of different scenes from the different films, and also like publicity shots as well. I do have all these on my albums as well, on my poster page as well, so you can actually find all these if you have a look on there. And then you have this one from Sons of the Desert, another early one that I got. Very famous shot, that one. Absolutely love that one. So there we are. There are some other original items that I have, but when I first started, but I do remember these were like the main pieces. And the more I think about it now, this was definitely possibly the first figure that I had. And I do remember it was from a neighbour of ours, like a family friend neighbour, that bought this for me. So I do remember it as one of the earliest memories of having this as the first item amongst all these other little bits that sit around it all, with my Magic Behind the Movies book and little badge and little figures of Chaplin and that, and that's all it was. That there was nothing else. It's not like this now, and it's quite amazing, and it's pretty incredible how it's just grown and progressed over the years, and it never really went away and left me. So so it's good to go down memory lane again and just look at all the older stuff and how it all started and where it all originated from for me. back in the early 90s, or in fact the sort of mid to late 80s. So there it is. So thanks for watching this video, everyone, and happy collecting. Bye for now.